Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching me from. I'm Afoko Kudia, and this is my page. I'm back on the screen again to have an exclusive tutorial with you on how to apply for a study permit, stroke temporary resident permit to Canada. All right, so we'll wait for some few minutes and then we'll begin. Please share for other people to also benefit from this live tutorial. So, if you have been watching most of my videos, you will notice that I've been discussing one of the ways in migrating to Canada, which is through education. Sometimes too, I do share job links where you can still try and apply through jobs to some of the companies in Canada that are authorized to recruit international employees so that they can help them to migrate to Canada. But mainly, my focus has always been through migration through education. And today, I am coming to share with you for the first time how to easily apply for a study permit to Canada. It will interest you to know that you do not need an agent in doing this particular exercise. All right, Canada is one of the most easiest way to apply for any type of visa. All right, specifically student permits or temporary resident permits, temporary resident visas. Okay, so I'll take you through step by step on how to apply for study permits. And thank you for the messages you guys have been sending me through my personal inbox, wishing me well, trying to give me encouragement on what I'm doing and how it is impacting and changing some of you guys, your mindsets, and how you have always been planning to migrate from your home country. All right. So, Charlie, get us started in a few minutes. If you have time, please stick to this live tutorial section and you will learn a lot from this particular tutorial section. So if you have your laptop with an internet access, you can apply to this student permits. All right. Let us assume that you have successfully applied for your admission and you have gained admission. All right. Like I keep saying, having a passport is the very first document you are supposed to have. The second document that you are supposed to have is an official admission letter from any of the designated learning institution schools in Canada. All right. So when you gain your letter of admission, you are good to go in order to apply for your visa. Okay. We call it student permit, but technically it is temporary resident visa. Okay, when you get to the port of entry, which is the airport, that is where they will issue you with the student permit. All right, so you just click on RCC and then you go to their main portal. Okay, so when you go to their main portal, you have a list of things that you can click on depending on what you are looking for. All right, but our main focus here is study. Okay, so under study, it gives you apply for or extend a study permit or student work permit. All right, so we are going to click on this one. So now we are on a study permit column where you now initiate your application process. Okay, Please share for other people to also benefit from this particular tutorial. It is very important that we share information to ourselves so that we can be able to drive our destiny in our own hands. All right. So you scroll down. When you scroll down, you see a lot of information here. If you've been studying and watching my videos, you should know about Designated Learning Institution by now. This is one of the ways in checking whether the school you have applied for or the school you want to apply for is authorized to give you a postgraduate work permit when you are done with your school. Okay, but for the purpose of this video, we are looking at how to apply for a study permit. Okay, so you sign in to your study permit account. This is what we are going to click. So when you click on this is what you are going to see on your screen. We have IRCC secured accounts. This says that you must use this account if you are applying with a family member who is applying for a study permit. So let's say you are applying for a study permit and you want to include any of your family members. When we talk about family members here, they are talking about your wife or your children. Okay, so if you are applying for a study permit and you want to include your wife and your children, this is what you have to use. Okay, but if you are applying a loan for the first time, this is what you have to click. Okay, so in this time, we are assuming that you are applying a loan. Okay, we assume that you are applying a loan, so we are going to click on the second one, which is continue to IRCC portal. So this is what you are going to see, and it says that if you need an IRCC portal account, you sign up and apply. So this is basically for the first time applicants if you don't have a login details already. But if you have a login details, I assume that you already know how to apply, and then you just click on sign in. But in this case, we are only doing this for the first time. Okay, so we are going to click on sign up and apply. Please share for other people to also benefit from this tutorial. This is a tutorial. If you are just joining me, it is a tutorial that I'm doing on how to apply for a study permit to Canada, assuming you have gained your admission already from any of the colleges or the universities in Canada. All right, so you have to input your email address and then you confirm your email address. They are going to send you an invitation code where you can use to properly sign in into the portal for you to apply for it. Okay, so we are going to input. For the purpose of this tutorial, I just created an account where I am going to use, and this is what I created. I have just inputted my email address. You can input your email address, and this is going to be the official email address that the embassy is always going to communicate with you on. So make sure that you know the password, and then you can be able to log on into this email address at any time. All right, so we are going to get the invitation code, and then we'll continue with the process. So your IRCC portal invitation code is this. So I am going to copy, and then you click on continue to the IRCC portal sign up page. So they are asking you to type in the invitation code, the invite code, and your email address. All right, so this is my email address, and then they are asking you for the password. Okay, so I'm just going to create a simple password, and you have to confirm the password. And you have to add your full name, okay, your surname and your given name. If usually in Ghana we have first name, middle name, and your surname for purpose of applying to study permits or for applying to visas through Canada. Your given name includes your first name and your middle name. If you ignore your middle name, they are going to issue you with a biometric letter that will not include your middle name. And if you go to the visa application center to take your biometric, they are going to reject you because your name will not tally with any of the ID cards that you have. Okay, so you always have to include your middle name and your first name as your full name. So I am just going to say Rene Bubune. All right, so this is the person's surname. Let's assume this is your surname and this is your middle name, your first name and your middle name. If you have middle name and two surnames, you can add it. Let's say you have Ama in addition to your first name and your middle name. You always have to make sure that the rest of your name appears on the given name and or first name. All right, so we are going to settle on this, then we'll continue. All right, so select telephone number. You are going to click on others because you are not in Canada or you are not in US. All right, so dial code, I'm going to use my home country, and then telephone number. So it gives you an error here, which means you have to take off the zeros and then you input your real telephone number. Again, you have to take off the zero. So it says that the password enters don't match. All right, so you have to make sure that your password that you enter matches with the confirmed password. So let's see if it matches with, yeah, it matches. So we have, so a verification code has been sent to your email address. All right, so they have sent a verification code to this email address. You have to check through your official email to get the verification code. So I am going to check through my email address to see if I have any verification code. Then I can input into what they are asking me. All right, so I have the verification code and I am going to add that verification code to it. So it's five 501246. 501246. Yep. So we are going to confirm. Email has been verified and you can now sign in. Okay. So they will ask you to read the terms and conditions, and then you have to accept. Then you can enter into the main application portal. All right. So I am signing out because I signed into my previous application portal, which is not the same as what we are just doing now. So I have to sign into the tutorial application portal, and then we'll continue. All right, so this is the tutorial application page, and then they are asking us to accept the terms and conditions. You can go through the terms and conditions, and then you can either accept or you reject. But in this case, we are going to accept. All right, so Rene Bubune is currently on his official application portal where you can now apply for your study permit. Okay, so it's showing here apply for a visitor visa, transit visa, or a study permit. So it's still the same thing. If you're already in Canada and then you want to apply for an asylum, this is what you have to click. But in this case, we are going to apply for a study permit, so we're going to click on this one. To apply to visit visa or study permit, please share for other people to also benefit from this tutorial. This is how to apply for a study permit to Canada all by yourself. So they are letting you know some few things. You make sure you are eligible before you apply, and then you have these items ready. That is your passport or other valid travel document. Okay, and then you also have your credit card to pay the application fee. All right. The third one that they want you to know is to follow these steps to complete the application. All right. So these are the steps in order to follow for applying for the application, and you have up to 60 days to submit this application. After 60 days, the system will automatically delete this application. All right, so we acknowledge and then we start with the application. All right, Charlie, if you don't take the destiny in your own hands, you will never get anywhere. Mame can assemble share me chrome for in a very sharp way. All right. Mame can share more. Yeah, your forefathers now. Your migrate here to Ghana. Ghana is not the place you are supposed to stay. Ghana no, your forefathers and a bit na hono. And then I say also no, will make it effort no, to migrate to a better land that you should also know your future generation can also benefit from economic freedom and a very good way of life. Okay, and to know men cannot be far point thinking say manna will fall from heaven. All right, just make the move and things will fall in place. All right, so they're asking, do you want to apply for more than one person at the same time, or you are just applying for yourself? Okay, so if you are applying as a student and you are including your wife and your kids, you have to click yes. But if you are applying only for yourself, you have to click no. Okay, in this case, we are going to click no, and in another day, I am going to click yes, so that we'll also go through how to apply together with your wife and kids. Okay, so we are going to click no, and then we'll click on continue. All right, so it also says that I want to apply for what do you want to apply for. Okay, so this portal can give you the opportunity to apply for a study permit or to apply for a visitor visa. Okay, so if you are also applying for just a visitor visa, this is the process that you can also go through. Okay, but in this case, we are applying for a study permit. So we are going to click on study permit. And the next question is, what exactly do you want to apply for? All right, so Obiani, the length of education now Obabe have in Canada. Okay, Obi one the education is just 6 months. Obi one it is more than 6 months. Okay, so they are asking you so that the system will know what exactly is the length of your studies. Okay, so a study permit to study for less than 6 months, you are going to click on this, which I don't advise you to come to Canada and then study for less than 6 months. Over Canada, now say over here in the program be less than 6 months, you will not qualify for a postgraduate work permit. Okay, the minimum for you is 8 months to 1 year. Okay, and now everything I qualify to have a postgraduate work permit. Say would be school now. All right, so the second one is a study permit to study for more than 6 months. Okay, so we are going to click on this one. Obviously, if you are just a visitor, you also click on this one. So they are asking you to tell us more about what you will do in Canada, include dates. Okay, so you just have to type to study now a type of program no, to study a master's program in economics. Okay, at now the school no to account. You find it at Drayton, at New Brunswick University. Okay, and then they are saying that you have to include the days too. Okay, from January 2024 to June 2026. Right, so you are done with this question, and then when will you enter Canada? And then yeah, besides said Abena who unra Canada to start with your studies. Remember saying the one catch almost saying program that started January. So ideally you can only enter Canada. You can enter Canada 3 months before your study time, 4 months before your study time, but most of the immigration officers now at airport now, they are likely to return you back if you are entering into Canada 3 months before your study time. Okay, so usually it is advisable to enter into Canada a month before your study begins. Okay, so in this case, you say who have a study January 2024. So obviously you want to come in December. Okay, so December. Not to do any days in December. So I'm going to choose on the 5th. And then when will you leave Canada? You have to check your admission letter. No? Your admission letter says when you are going to graduate. And obviously, over to me the plus 3 months be account. It will show say you use 3 months to prepare yourself, to organize yourself to leave Canada. Of course, in Charlie, question where the more money is who are Canada and yeah, will be free Canada, because there are a lot of opportunities and ways to continue to stay in Canada. Okay, so I don't know, it's just some gimmicks. They can't work because I'm sending by and yeah, they are on the line way. All right, so no worries, you just have to add plus 3 months B. Put a plus 3 months B back on. And then finance what catch on say we June 2026 until 2026. June no the 3 months be aka ho. And then finance will be free on more September, end of September on baby. So online no. Me na as omo name say nya dey we be free Canada, because we school no crana and buying a camp over my postgraduate work permit between 1 year and 3 years. So cool school we be within 1 year now and buying a 1 year work permit with media age. So cool school 2 years and buying a 3 years with media age work system. Question we won't be look question. All right, so if you have your UCI, unique client identification number, now this is for people who have already applied for visas to Canada and then they have this number. But since it is your first time, you don't have it, you don't worry about it. Okay, and it's no matter optional portion way, so you don't want to worry about it, and then you click on continue. So you selected apply for a study permit for more than 6 months, okay? And they are asking you, they are letting you know some few things about what you have selected. If this isn't what you expected, check your answers again, all right? So they are also asking you that the study permit is a document that allows foreign nationals to study at designated learning institutions in Canada. It is not a visa. If you remember now, I told you from beginning, say, technically, study permit is not a visa. The visa that they will give you is temporary resident permit, okay? Temporary resident visa. So that visa, it will allow you to travel to Canada. When you get to the port of entry now, which is the airport now, that is where the immigration officers at those places will interview you again. They will just have some little chat with you. to find out whether truly, back Canada, and I say, back Canada, yes, allo, be school, no. So that is where they give you the study permit. Also now they can return you back and then refuse you the study permit. All right. So that is why it is very important that you always have to do things yourself. Senabaya, you know what you are doing, and then when you get to the airport now, when they ask you questions, you'll be able to respond to those questions. All right. And so now we'll keep going. If you've gone through all these things, then you click on continue. So they are again telling you that these are the informations you are going to enter. Okay, so they are going to ask you of your personal details. They are going to ask about your travel document details, which is your passport details. They are going to ask you about your finances, okay, and they are going to ask you about your educational history, and then they are going to ask you about your travel history, and they are going to ask you about your criminality and security. They are going to ask you about your medical background and family information. All right, and when you have all this necessary information, you can click on continue now. So representative. So this is the page where most of the agents comes in. Okay, so if you are applying on behalf of someone else, then you have to click on yes. So this is where the agents will always click on yes, and then they will continue the application for you. But since you are doing everything for yourself, you click on no. All right. So you continue. So they are asking you about your surname or last name on your travel documents. In this case, they are talking about your passport. All right. And what is your surname? Your surname is Bia. Remember, you mentioned your surname from the beginning, and your given name. So we said Ubune Bia. All right. So your date of birth. They are asking about your date of birth. Your date of birth on your passport. Okay, that is what they are asking you. Do not go and quote any date of birth. All right. So your date of birth, let's say 1990, and then the month in which you were born. All right. Let's say December, and then the day in which you were born, 2nd December. Gender, of course, you are female or any other gender. If you are transgender, you can click another gender. If you don't know your gender, you can click unknown. All right. But in this case, you are female. Hello, guys. So I am doing a live tutorial on how to apply for yourself, by yourself, to the Canadian Embassy on your study permit or your study visa. Okay. This is assumed that you have already gained admission and you have the admission letter. All right. Please share for other people to also benefit from this. It is time for you to say no to a traveling agent. It is time for you to take your destiny into your own hands and to do things by yourself. All right. To save money. Okay. So the action of your type of travel document. So we're going to say passport. What kind of passport? So it is a regular passport. And select the country code that matches with you. Country code. So I'm using Ghana, so I'm going to choose Ghana. What was the nationality on your passport? Again, you choose your country. What's your passport or travel document number? All right. So they are asking you of your passport and travel document number. I am just going to input in a travel document number. All right. Confirm your travel document number. Travel document number and the date of issue. All right, so you are going to the date that the passport was issued. So let's say 10, which month? September. Which year? Let's say your passport is fresh until 2023. September, yeah, what generation? What agent? 2000 Ghana cedis. our passport now, September, we are just last month. So date of expiring. So we're gonna say on the 9th of September 2023, 2033. Ghana passport usually is 10 years, so 2033. And they will ask you some couple of questions. All right. Are you a lawful permanent resident of the United States? No. Have you held a Canadian visitor visa in the past 10 years? You say no. If you have, you choose yes. All right. Please do not lie on any visa application. The system that they have now, they are able to track any information that you have given to any embassy before. So please do not lie. The Omuhusinti Wachantra, they call it misrepresentation. All right. They can ban you for 5 years or between 5 years and 10 years. Okay. So please be very genuine and answer the questions as truthful as possible. All right. So do you currently hold a valid US non-immigration visa? If you have it, you click yes. If you don't have it, you click no. All right. This do not affect your application in any way. All right. They just want to know who you are and where you're coming from, and they want to know your past. All right. So are you traveling to Canada by air? You choose yes. Of course, if you want to travel by sea, then you choose no. Okay. So you save and then you continue. All right. So citizenship and places where the applicant has lived. All right. So they're asking you about where your citizenship. So it's Ghana, city or town where you were born. Okay. I'm going to choose Accra. If you are watching me outside Ghana, you just have to answer the question based on the country that you are coming from. Okay. So in this case, your city will be the city in which you were born in your home country where you are watching me from. All right. I am just using Ghana, which is my home country, as a case study in this live application tutorial. All right. So they're asking you, are you a citizen of more than one country or territory? All right. If you are a citizen of more than one country, you can choose yes. Let's choose yes. And then they are going to ask you the countries and the territories in which you are a citizen of. All right. But in this case, we assume the person, or we assume you who is watching me, you are a citizen of only one country, which is Ghana. All right. So which country or territory are you a citizen of? So we are going to choose Ghana. And then they're asking you, are you a citizen of this country or territory since birth? You choose yes. And then automatically your date of birth is going to pop up. All right. If it is no, you uncheck this, and then you input the date that you became a citizen. All right. Continue. Please share for other people to also benefit from this live visa application to Canada. All right. It is very important that you do things for yourself. Agents are charging between 50,000 and 100,000 Ghana cedis in order to apply on their behalf for you with these very simple steps. Okay. It is not very difficult to apply to Canada with visit visas. Okay. It is very simple. They have made their system in a very simple way where you can easily apply by yourself. Okay. All you need is an internet. So we have nationality identification documents of the applicant. Okay. So do you have a valid nationality identification document? All right. If you have, of course, you have your passport. So you're going to choose yes. You can also use your Ghana card. Okay. So this is where your Ghana card plays a very important role. But if you don't have your Ghana card, your passport is a national identification document. Okay. So we are going to write the number, which I have forgotten. I am going to write into 58. Confirm the number again. G23458645. So date of issue, wow. All right, let's see if the system is going to allow us to input this. So 2023, I remember I said September, and I remember mentioning on the 10th also. So country, which is Ghana, and then we click on continue. All right. So have you used another name in the past? Have you officially? They are not asking about your nicknames now, Unya or SS, no, like Gaddafi, like teaspoon, tablespoon, or whatsoever. No, that is not what they are asking. They are asking about your official names. Have you used an official name in the past? There are some people who have used an official name 5 years ago and then they have changed it. Okay, so if you have changed your name in the past, which is official, you can click yes, and then they're gonna ask you to input the name that you used in the past. Okay, but in this case, we are going to select no, and then we click on continue. All right. So countries or territories of residence. Okay, what's your residential address now? Okay, so they're asking about your current residential address. So your country is Ghana. Your street address. If you have your street address, you can input your street address. All right. So I'm just inputting any street address that I know randomly. Okay. 12 Amon Over Lane, which is in Tishin, Accra. Then your postal code, Ghana postal code is 333-233. And then is your mailing address the same as your residential address? All right. So they are asking about what we know in Ghana as your post office box number. Okay. If you have or you don't, if your post office box number is the same as your address, you click yes. If it is not, you click no. All right. So only postal address and so on. You can use your church postal address, okay, and then you just inform your church that you have used their address for certain things, so that they will be aware that if they receive any mails from anywhere that has your name on it, they can give it to you. But the immigration service is not going to send you an email. It's not going to send you an official mail box through your church or whatsoever. They just want to have it on file. All the information is going to be through email. That is why it is very important for you to use an email that you remember the password. Okay, so I am going to choose the action about Ghana, and then again. So I'm going to choose a different. Let's assume your post office box number is not the same as your house address. Okay, so I've just choose randomly something different. And then your postal code again is 233 Ghana. If you're watching me from somewhere else, you input your postal code that you know. So countries or territories of residence. So list your current country or territory of residence, then add all other countries or territories where you have lived for the past 5 years for more than 6 months. Okay, so this question is about you letting them know the country that you have visited and you have lived for 6 months. Okay, if you have lived in a country that is less than 6 months, there is no need to add it to it. But again, if you have lived in a country for 1 month or 2 months, you can add it to it, provided that you obeyed the immigration rules and regulations. In Kohobi Wanoma, if you are UK, you're 3 weeks, but over 3 weeks no, and you stayed like 3 months, 6 months, and then you leave UK, go through UK. Please, they can reject your application because it automatically shows that you don't obey the immigration rules and regulations. Okay, so please, so you have visited a country and you have obeyed the immigration rules and regulations. Almost 2 weeks, you spend exactly 2 weeks and you left the country. Now you can add it to it. You see, it boosts your chances of gaining the visa. All right, so they are asking us to list our country first, and then we add any other country that we have visited for more than 6 months. Okay, so we click on Ghana. What is your current status? So you're a citizen, Ghana, and then from, of course, you're a citizen from Ghana from birth. Okay, so 19. We selected 1990. Month no was. If my memory serves me right, I said December 2nd, right? So this is where I currently live. So it shows, then you click on save. Right, so it will give you an overview of what you have inputted. If it is wrong, you have to just click on edit. All right, you just have to click on edit. Okay, and then we'll click on continue. So they are going to ask you about your biometric information. All right, so do we already have your fingerprint or photo, and are they still valid? Okay, so this question is for people who have already applied for visas to Canada and they have already captured their biometric. If you capture your biometric at their visa application center in Jowlu, it is valid for 10 years. Okay, so if you have already done that, you can click on yes. Okay, so that they can waive you, they can give you exemption from going there to take your biometric again. Okay, so but in this case, you have never applied for visas to Canada before. But again, if you have done that before, you can still click on yes, and then you continue with the rest of the questions. Okay, but in this case, I'm going to choose no, and then we'll continue. So they're asking about details about your intended study in Canada. Okay, they are now asking you about the details of what you are coming to do in Canada as a student. Okay, so type of study permit. So they are asking you two questions. The first question is, I have a letter of acceptance from a designated learning institution. Okay, and then I am applying for an open work permit. So you have this. You obviously choose the first one. So the next pop-up box and questions will follow up, which says that which of the following applies to you. You check. An officer of no, an American member no, a United States no, family member. So none of that above. All right. Level of study. So what are you coming to study? They are basically asking you, what are you coming to study? If a university bachelor degree or doctorate or master's. Remember that from beginning, we said we are coming to study a master's program. So we're going to choose this one. And then, so they are asking you about the designated institution learning number. Okay, so all the schools that will give you their admission letter will state clearly on the letter their designated learning institution number. Okay, so you have to look on that admission letter number, and then you type in your designated learning institution number. Okay, so 0123. Let me quickly just go to the website and then get a valid institution number that I can input over there. Okay, NBCC. All right, so we have a valid one, the name of the school, NBCC. So they are asking you to see it is not opening, so you have to make sure that you type in the full name. But again, you have to make sure that all the information you're providing is accurate and correct. Okay, please do not lie on your application. It is a very risky thing to do. If you are not caught right then, the immigration service is definitely going to fish you out in the future, even when you are in Canada. Okay, so start typing to find your email, is to find your address in the list. So basically, they are just asking you about the address of the school. And again, you will see or you will know the address of the school on your admission letter. Okay, they will always include their address. All right. So I'm just going to choose any address for the purpose of this tutorial. And then field of study. They are asking you the field of study. So I'm going to choose business. I am assuming it is business. So do you have a student identification number and would you like to provide it? So again, your admission letter is going to indicate your student number. Okay, so obviously you cannot say you do not have. Every school, when they are giving you the admission, they always let you know your student number in your admission letter. So you are going to choose yes, and then you just type in your student admission number. Okay, and then you click on continue. So educational cost, again, you will find this information in your admission letter. Okay, your admission letter is going to let you know the total fees that comes with the program that they have given you admission for. So you check your admission letter and then you quote exactly what the admission letter have stated. Okay, so in this case, we are just going to say 15,000 and then room and board. Usually, the RCC also have a page where it shows the minimum room and board estimation that is applied to every international student. Okay, so you are just going to do a rough calculation because it is a 2 years program. You are just going to say roughly you are going to spend $800 a month, and then you multiply that $800 a month times 2 years. All right, so 800 times 2 years, that is 24 months. So we are looking at 19,200. Okay, and then others, which is optional. All right, so funds available for stay in Canada. All right, again, IRCC have stated the minimum funds that you are supposed to have, which is 10,000 Canadian dollars. All right, so you can write a little bit over the total amount. Okay, so let's say you are going to say 20,000, and they are asking you who will pay for all your expenses in Canada. Okay, so who is going to pay for all your expenses? You say either yourself or parents or others. Okay, so if you are the type of person who is going to take someone as a sponsor, you have to click on others, and then you give the details of whoever is going to sponsor you. Okay, but if it is yourself or your parent, you click on yourself or your parent. All right, so that ends it. But I am going to choose others, and then who is paying for your tuition. So you can say family member. Okay, family member, and then are you receiving financial support for your studies? So you click on yes, and then you click on others, and then enter the name of the funding program. How much would you receive through this program? So this is basically for scholarship schemes. All right, so you click on no, and then you continue. But again, if you are being sponsored, you can click on yes, and then you can indicate the scholarship scheme that is sponsoring you. All right, co-op program for foreign nationals. Again, your admission letter will state whether your program has a co-op. Co-op means you will be doing some kind of attachment at the end of the program in addition to your classroom work. Okay, most schools do have this kind of arrangement, but some schools do not. Okay, so you check your letter of admission, and if it says that your program has a co-op, you click on yes. If the admission letter says that you do not have a co-op program, which is kind of an attachment, or in Ghana we say industrial attachments. We usually do it during our third year thereabouts. Okay, this is what they're asking you. Okay, so if your letter of admission has that specifically mentioned in it, you can click on yes. So what type of work permit are you applying for? All right, so your program is post-secondary. All right, post-secondary means program that is beyond secondary school requirement. All right, so post-secondary, and then you click on it, and then it says that your co-op work must be an essential part of the training program, but forms 50% or less of it. Okay, click on continue. So information about education, work, and other activities. All right, they are going to ask you about your previous educational history and your work education, your work history. All right, so post-secondary educational history. Have you ever studied at a post-secondary school, university, college, or vocational school? You don't need to have completed a degree or diploma. All right, so they are not even asking you whether you've completed degree or whatsoever. All that they are asking is about a vocational school is even a school, any form of official school. All right, so click on yes, and then you add the details to it. All right, so we'll click on this, and then we're gonna add the details. Name the school or institution where you studied or where you currently studied. All right, so so university. University of Professional Studies. So from 2010 to 2010 August to 2010 August to 2014 September. So level of education, you just click on, obviously, it's a degree. And then field of study, business, marketing, management. If you studied science or whatsoever, you can click on whatever field of study that you had. All right. So select address. So it's Ghana. Right. Your street. Obviously, you should know your address for the school. If you do not know or if you have forgotten, you can just use Google to help you out with the address. So I don't know the address of this school, so I'm just going to say 345 Legon Street. Yeah. All right. So city or town, I know it's in Medina. And then I'm gonna save. So we have added our previous school, and then we are going to continue with our work activities. All right, if you have more than one degree, or if you even have a master's degree, you can add more. You have add more to it, and you add it here. If you have another professional degree, you can also add to it. It all boosts your chances of gaining the visa. All right. So military or police history. Did you serve in any military? You click on no. If you serve in any military, you can click on yes, and then you give the details of whatever you did in the military. All right. So they're asking you to give details of all your employment and activities for the past 10 years. All right. They want to know for the past 10 years what you have been doing. All right. This past 10 years, they are referring to from now to 10 years back. Okay. So again, we are going to select on add. And then we are going to, so we are in 2023 minus 10 years. So we are going to give our work history from 2013 up to today. All right. So select here, we are talking about 2013. The month, we are in November, so obviously going to start from October. If it is ongoing, if you are in the same company since October 2013, you can just choose ongoing, and then you continue with the rest of the questions. All right. But if you are the type of person who have changed jobs within these times, you have to make sure that you add all those jobs to it. All right. So let's say you work from 2013 October to 20, 2015 December. All right. So work activities, they're asking you about the work activities, what you did. If it is unemployed during that time, if you were unemployed, you have to select unemployed. If you are in the trade, transport, equipment operation, and stuff like that, you will click on it. I am going to click on management occupation, and then your title. You just go through it, and then you just click on whichever title that matches with whatever that you were doing during that time frame. Okay, and then you add a company. All right, so let's say Bank of Africa. So you add your duties to it, and then you just type your duties. I'm just typing anything at all, and then the country is Ghana. Street address. Again, just going to choose in a street, 35 Main Street. Main Street, and then you're gonna save. Okay, but again, you see, we have 2013 October to 2015 December. Okay, so we are still there with January 2016 up to date. Okay, so you have to click on add so that you can fill in that gap. Okay, if you do not give the information for the past 10 years, you will not be able to move forward with application. All right, so remember, we are now left with 2016 January to. For the purpose of this video, I am just going to click on ongoing. It means that I am still working in that particular company. Okay, but again, if you are unemployed, you can just choose unemployed. Okay, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't affect your application in any way. All right, so you always have to make sure that the terms rule here is for you to be truthful as much as possible. All right, so for the purpose of this video, I am even going to choose unemployed. Okay, so I am just going to choose unemployed. So Ghana, and then unemployed, obviously you are going to select your home. Okay, you've been unemployed, so you don't have any company address to give. All right, so obviously it's going to be your home. So now you are done with your 10 years. So you see, save and continue. But if you do not give your details for the past 10 years, you will not have this save and continue button. All right, it is going to restrict you in moving forward. So travel history during the past 5 years. Have you traveled to a country or territory other than the one you are a citizen or where you live? All right, so they are asking you in the past 10 years, have you traveled to any country? Of course, if you have traveled to any country which is legit and you have a proof of it, you can click on yes, and then you give details of it. But if you have never traveled before, you click on no, and then you continue. These do not affect your application in any way, but if you have traveled before, it also boosts your application. All right, so we click on continue. Travel history. Have you ever stayed in Canada beyond the validity of your status? Okay, if you have done that before, you click on yes, but I am assuming that this is your first time of applying, so you're gonna click no. And the next question, have you ever been refused a visa or permit, denied entry to or ordered to leave any country? All right. If this applies to you, you click on yes. And then obviously they are going to ask you the reasons why. All right. But in this case, we're going to click no because you have never been denied entry into any country. All right. If you have been denied entry, please click on yes and then give the reasons why. Okay. Again, it do not affect your application in any way. All right. So please just be truthful as you can. All right. So click on no and then we continue. So criminal records and security background check, they are asking about your criminal records in your home country, where you have to go through all these questions and then you answer as truthful as possible. All right. So I am going to click no, 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 no. The first one, have you ever been convicted of any crime? No. Have you ever been arrested? Of course, you can be arrested, but it has to be documented. If you are arrested today and then they put you in Ghana, we call it counterback, and then in 2 days' time they release you without any court proceedings that will proclaim that what you did was wrong, you click on no. Okay, that is not the kind of arrest that they are talking about. They are talking about an arrest that you went through the court system and then you were convicted. Okay, so have you ever been charged for any crime offense in any country or territory? This includes driving under the influence of alcohol or what have you. You say no. Have you ever been convicted for any crime offense in any country or territory? Say no, and then you click on continue. Criminal record, still asking questions. You go through it. If it applies to you, you say yes. If it doesn't, you click on no, no, then continue. Medical background check. Okay, so they are now asking you whether you have given them your medical records before. So this question also goes to those who have applied to get a visa from the Canadian Immigration Service before. All right. So if you have done that before and then they have your medical records, this question is for you. Okay. So if you click on yes, so it means that they will ask you about there is a unique number that will be given to you when you do that exams. And in this case, for the past 10 years, they are going to exempt you from taking that medical exams. But I am assuming that this is your first time, so you have never given them your medical exams before. So you're going to click no. And you click on continue. So medical background questions, all right? They are going to ask you some few questions about your health. And again, it is very important that you answer the questions as truthful as possible, okay? They have something they call misrepresentation, okay? Misrepresentation means that you give them a false information and then later on they will find out, okay? All these questions, they are definitely going to find out one way or the other, or sooner than later, okay? So in the past 2 years, were you diagnosed with tuberculosis? If you fall in this category, you click on yes. If you don't, you click on no, okay? In the last 5 years, have you been in close contact with a person with tuberculosis? If it applies to you, you click yes. If you have never come into contact with any tuberculosis person, you click no. Let's say your brother had once tuberculosis, so obviously you have come into contact with the person, okay? And also explains to you what they mean by that question, okay? So you go through it, and if it applies to you, you either click yes or you click no. In this case, we're gonna click no. And then we continue. So medical background question, they are still asking you questions. Are you currently receiving dialysis treatment? If it applies to you, you click yes. If it doesn't apply to you, you click no. Have you had a drug or alcohol addiction causing you to be a threat to yourself or others or to be hospitalized? So, question where they are come put me we appeal na left or right. The questions will come out. We can try. So man chill Ghana, we do Canada, you chill. And making sure that you answer them correctly. Send a moment of this and that. They will know how to take care of you when you finally come to Canada. Okay. And if it doesn't apply to you, you click no. Have you had a mental health condition causing you to be a threat to yourself or others or to be hospitalized? All right. Well, so when you're broken heart, that's when your mental issue before 1 week, that is not what they are looking for. That is not what they are asking. They are talking about real mental issues where, Charlie, what to make touch you will feel, to the extreme, to the extent that they have taken you to hospitals to seek medical attention and all that. Okay, and when you're broken heart, why do you not torture for 1 day, 2 days, and not 3 days? No, please. If it doesn't apply to you, click no. If it applies to you, click yes. So, have you ever been diagnosed with syphilis? Hey, someone syphilis. More what me in bano, back in bano, so no more what me in Belmano, back with me syphilis near this question goes to you. All right. So if it applies to you, you click yes. If it doesn't apply to you, you click no. All right. So then you continue. So marital status. Okay. So they are asking you whether you are married or not, whether you are in a common law or not. So whichever one that applies to you, whether you are separated, single, widowed, and stuff like that, you respond according to what you falls under. Okay, so in this case, I've got to choose married. If you click on you are married, obviously, at the latter part of this application, they are going to ask you about your marriage certificate. Okay, and so you'll be a only marriage certificate, but you are still married. You can click common law. Common law means that you are living with a woman for some number of years under one roof. Okay, but you don't have the real marriage certificate to prove it. So this is what you have to click. But if you have the marriage certificate to prove it, which again it really helps in your application, it's the only marriage certificate. Try and then go and get one in order to apply, because it really helps. There is something that they call family home ties. Okay, the home ties, marriage, is one of them. That shows that Charlie, while worry with fear over Canada, you still return back to Ghana. Okay, so date of marriage or start of common law partnership. Okay, so if you're in a common law partner or you're in a marriage now, they are asking you about the date. So let's say ORA 2018, and the month was in August, and it's in December on the 10th of August. Okay, so name of your spouse. They are asking about the name of your spouse. This question is very, very important, because definitely, when you apply for a visit visa for your spouse, this record is going to be in their system, and then it will be able to help them to speed up your application that you applied for your spouse. Okay, but again, so you're singular, all this information will vanish. Okay, so we are going to click on single, but if you are married, you click on married, and then you answer all these questions, and then you click on continue. So how do we say, it is very important. So last question, it says that would your spouse or common law partner accompany you to Canada? All right, and they again say answer yes, even if your spouse will join you later in Canada. Please make sure you click on yes, because Obianim say your partner will definitely join you in Canada. Okay, so clicking no was somebody shit. Even 10 years, 5 years, 11 years to come now, if you change your mind to bring your partner to Canada now, they are going to pull up this information, and then you might have serious issues. Okay, so please always click yes, because the answer even says even if she will join you later in Canada. Charlie, bana o bano. Udi ni brain na odeba. And dia will return you back to the country where your great grandfathers emigrated. Canada is the land for everybody. Almost all the people in Canada migrated to this place, and then they settled here. Just like the way our forefathers migrated to Ghana, and then they settled in Ghana. So obviously, but again, these are all formalities or processes that you have to go through, so that they will make sure that they are admitting very qualified person into their country. All right, so I'm going back to click on single, then continue. So children, do you have any biological, adopted, or stepchildren? If this applies to you, you click on yes. So you can be single, but you can have kids, okay? So don't worry if you are single and still have kids. Please make sure that you include all your kids because, like I said, put me do Canada. Now say Bibia Yemao, which I know everything will go on smoothly for you in 3 years or 4 years to come. And then you want to bring in these kids, you are really going to have a very serious issue. Okay, so always include them into your application. You click on add, and then you continue adding the number of kids that you have. It also helps you a lot to prove your family ties back home. Okay, it really helps you a lot. So what then? Continue adding, and then you will include all of them on your application. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to click no. I understand that I am not declaring any natural, adopted, or step children. All right, so please, it is very, very important that you always include your kids. So we are single, we don't have any kid. We are going to click on no and then continue. So tell us about your parents. They want to know about your parents, whether I was adopted or legal parent. Okay. So we are going to add our parents, whether they are alive or they are dead. Okay. So surname is here, given name, Rosemary. Relationship, they're asking whether this person is your mother or father. So obviously it's my mother. And date of birth, we are going to select any date of birth. August. And then this parent is deceased, all right? And you know, so this name you have mentioned is no more on earth. She's late. You have to click on this parent is deceased, and then date of death and the country. But my mother is still alive, and then we assume this person's mother is still alive. So country, click on Ghana, and then present occupation. I would say trader, or for a retired person, now you can click on retired. Okay. So does this parent have the same address as you? If it's yes, you click on yes. If it's no, you click on no. Okay. Will this parent come with you to Canada? Obviously, your parents are not coming to Canada. This one also do not have any effect on you in future. Okay. So we can click on no. It is only your wife. That particular question about your wife coming with you, whether now or the future, or any other very critical thing that can have effect on you in future. But with your parents, no, it doesn't. You save, and then again, you add your father to it. And so, father, Fred, Sammy, yeah, and father, and Fred, relationship. Father, date of birth. Again, we're going to choose date of birth. 1062 month, February. Then method. If your father is late, you click on late. If it's not, you continue with the question. He's also a retired person. Yes, having the same address as you. If no, you click on no. If you click on no, they are going to ask you about his address. All right. So for the sake of time, I'm going to click yes. And then will this parent join you to Canada? You click on no. And then you save. And then you go through what you have done. If it's all correct, you click on continue. So what is your native language or mother tongue? All right. So since I click on Ghana, the immigration service have listed almost all the languages in the world. Of course, let me click on Ewe and see. You see, my native tongue, mother tongue is Ewe, is there. And then can you communicate in English? or French or both. You just select which one you feel comfortable with. Okay, which language do you want us to use to contact you? Is English, and then you click on save and continue. Email address of applicant. All right, so they are asking about your official email address again for them to be very sure. Confirm your email address. Please note this is the only way they are going to communicate with you. All right, so make sure that you know the password. All right, so save. So you're gonna add your telephone number again. Just want to make sure. So Sherla and then others. Country code 233. Telephone number 540. Yeah. Extension. Then you add the extension. If there's no extension, you just save and then you continue. You go through what you have written, and then if you are not comfortable with this, you click on edit. If you are comfortable with it, you continue with the application. So now they are going to give you a summary of what you have responded to. Okay, in the summary, you can just click on this and then you check the summary. You click on whichever part you feel like going through. I'll always advise you to go through every single one of them to be sure that you have given the correct answer before you click on continue. All right, so we are assuming that everything is accurate and correct. Then we can click on continue. Okay, we continue. Document to support your application. All right, so they have listed some documents that you have to upload to support your document. All right, so this is your letter of acceptance that a school sent to you. You have to upload it. And then this is the official letter from the school. So they have admission letter and official letter from the school that is also part of the admission letter, where they are kind of addressing it to the immigration service, which you have to add to it. Your national identification document that you added to your document. All right, so obviously it's going to be the passport, the biometric page of the passport, where you have your name, your surname, the expiring date of your passport, the issue date, and stuff like that. Okay, so your passport or travel document. Again, they're asking about your passport or travel document, the biometric page, and then they're asking about the proof of funds. All right, so I'll cover tricks and I'll cover very extensive video on the proof of funds, how you can get your proof of funds, how to upload your proof of funds, how to get family members or how to get certain people in order to help you to meet this particular requirement. Charlie, Ghana na yawono na document we there. Ubetimi anya easy, but making sure say document we no unya a very genuine and your fake one. Unim na say ukoji bank statement be a fake na say oh they apply ubetimi ban for 10 years and to making sure say you are getting the right proof of funds and your fake. I'll cover a very extensive video on the proof of funds and how to get your proof of funds. Okay, and consent personal form. We also add this one. And finally, they have this form where you have to upload. You download from RCC webpage and then you sign. So they are saying you complete this form only if you authorize the RCC and the Canada Border Services to release information from your case file to someone other than yourself. Okay, and it's say RCC and release it or details, no, and maybe the police service or any other individual. You have to fill this form. But if you don't want RCC to release your information to any other person, you don't fill this form. All right. So the last one is additional documents. So additional document page, that is where you upload your letter of explanation. Once Canada, no, you don't go for visa interviews like the US and stuff like that. And you have to write a letter of explanation. That letter of explanation, will have to convince the visa officer that yes, you are coming to Canada to study in this school and to study this program and the reasons why you want to study in that particular school and why you are coming to Canada. This is the icebreaker. Letter of explanation and the icebreaker no and so letter of explanation no and yet too tight now. The visa officer can refuse you just like that. I'll also cover a live video tutorial on how to put together your letter of explanation. Because this officer no onimo enya dia oba betina ni amana bisa questions and no honmo na all the necessary ingredients na ebe median be de no e de be hye do the hye musa na honmo na this officer no will be able to understand you and then be able to approve your visa for you. And to ubia then you click on submit. Then the final stage is for you to pay for your application fee. Application fee, usually it will only cost you your biometric and then your application fee itself, which do not usually cost more than 2,000 Ghana cedis or between 2,000 and 3,000 Ghana cedis, depending on the exchange rate currency of the cedi. All right, so this is how to apply for temporary resident visa, which is somehow a student visa to come to Canada and to study and to also explore the other opportunities that you have in Canada. Benefits from this particular tutorial. Thank you for watching, and I'll come with you again in another episode on how to move to Canada. Thank you, and please share. Bye-bye.